Thank you for listening to the Walk in Truth Radio Network broadcast. If this message has been a blessing to you, consider donating on your favorite platform. You can donate by looking in the description box and picking your favorite platform of choice: Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. Continue listening. And your prayers are needed, welcomed, and appreciated. Thank you for listening. We worship at the Universal Church of Jesus Christ building, located at 2301 Wallace.
Hello. This is Pastor Jay. Excuse for the mix-up. Please excuse me for this. Couldn't wait to Thursday for Thursday's thought, and you know the title. Leaders need to lead, or they should lead, or they're leaders because they sacrifice. Leaders are the greatest servants. Leaders are ones who are willing to put themselves on the line for the goodness and the betterment of others. All throughout history, we have found that the ones who are considered great leaders and not tyrants are the ones who are willing to lay down their lives, to put aside their privileges and their rights for the greater good of society and those who they serve that may call them their leader. The greatest leader of all time was Jesus, who didn't think it was robbery to be poured into this flesh and serve his creation, even though he had rights and privileges and prerogatives that he could exercise, but he kept them veiled so that he may complete the assignment that he agreed to do. He also laid down his life for those who hated him. Stephen, in the Word of God, laid down his life for his fellow brothers and sisters in the nation of Israel and was even stoned by them, just like Jesus was crucified by them for their good. And even though they did not receive his message, his word, his salvation that he offered through the gospel, he did not attribute anger or revenge on them. He asked God the Father to forgive them, for out of their ignorance, hatred, and not knowing the love of God, they needed forgiveness. A leader understands that they may be unpopular at times, but God has chosen them throughout time to make the hard decisions, to suffer ridicule, rejection, to be cast away, cast out, castrated, and often killed. But yet and still, they were willing to sacrifice. They don't think about themselves. They think about the beauty that will come from their leadership of sacrifice, that they may grow other leaders that look upon them and their sacrifice and be bold where they were weak and be submitted to the mission. A good leader thinks about everything being bigger than them, that even though they may be called to lead, they're not the end all and the be all of what needs to be done. They're just part of the message. May be significant to others, but understanding that there are more people that will come along that will be more significant than them. They will always look to count others more significant than themselves, considering their thoughts, their actions, their ways, and where they come from and their ideas. And also yet still willing to make the tough decisions in spite of them. They are willing to lead by sacrifice. They leave their countries, their homes, their families, because there's something better about tomorrow. That if they step out on faith, they will open the door for others to walk through. They feed. They're not first, they're last. They want to make sure that everybody receives some kind of nourishment, some kind of food for thought, some kind of food for their belly, before they even take a morsel because they love the people that they serve. Leaders need to learn to lead by sacrifice. It's not about the title or the applause or the praise. They would give all of that up for one soul to be saved. Yes, a leader needs followers. And unless you have followers and you look behind you, you're out for a long walk. But what attracts people to follow a leader, and we're going to qualify this as a good leader, is that leader's ability to convey the message of sacrificial love one to another, submitting yourself one to another, loving beyond the circumstance, and caring for them and others for no matter what they may go through or what they may do. That you can see the good in them, never knowing anyone after the flesh, but knowing them according to the Spirit. Looking at everybody as equally deserving the best out of life, the best from love, and all the rewards that come about by being a servant. So leaders lead by sacrifice. It's amazing to me as I get older and go through my life. I think of all the great leaders that have graced me with their presence. And when I think about it, from family members to coaches to senior pastors, they have all served me and others. And even if I didn't understand them at the time, if I was willing to look, listen, and learn, and a lot of times shut up, I found that they were doing what was best for me. And they humbled themselves to a young, ignorant man that had a lot of growing to do. And now I am where I am because of them. And I'm willing to be patient, kind, loving, understanding because of them. And I'm also willing to lead sacrificially like them. Because if they, through their patience and long suffering and love for me, could turn my heart through the gospel, then also I believe that through the truth of the gospel and sacrificial leadership and servanthood mentality, that the message can go forward again and again, century after century, decade after decade, day after day, minute after minute. There's somebody willing to lay their life on the line for this gospel, for this truth. It's even said in the Bible that there's this person called a good man that one person might consider to die for, a righteous one may dare to die for. But while we were still yet weak and sinners, deserving the wrath of God, God commended his son for us because he loved us. He wanted us to give us an example of a message that could save the whole world. But it would have to be delivered by sacrificial leadership. He said, don't be like the heathens who lead their people through draconian ways and hard ways. But if you want to be great in God, if you want to be great to God, if you want to be great, whatever that may be, lead by serving and being the greatest servant. And then finally, he said, if you humble yourself before him in due time, he will exalt you. And let me tell you something for those who are listening. When God exalts you, there is no man, no demon, no ideology or culture that can tear you down. This is Pastor Jay of Walk Truth Radio Network. I always want you to be encouraged, blessed, and at peace. That's your Thursday's thought, late Wednesday. And I pray that you find a leader that you can look up to as a sacrificial leader. Please like and subscribe and share on the platform that you're listening on. And I'll see you, hopefully, on the other side. Peace.